the Riverside Inn. It was hardly a five-star eatery and saloon. So, it's no big surprise that very few photos of it exist. The inn was located on the site where a former Vermilion post office was once located, on the south side of Liberty Avenue, east of the old Lake Shore Electric Depot, near the southeast corner of Liberty and Exchange Streets. A lady named Betty Kemmerer and her husband, Worthy, were then the proprietors. Betty was the daughter of a well-known Vermilionite named George Harris, Sr. While I was not yet born when these shadows were captured, circa 1942, my recollections of the place from the early 1950s were vivid enough to allow me to recognize it when I processed the picture from some old Vermilion News photo negatives. The reason for the photo is evident by the structural damage apparent in the photo. But I have, currently, no details about the cause. Neither do I have any personal experiences to share with readers about the eatery. But through the years I have heard a few anecdotes relative to it. Vermilion resident Larry Howell tells a story that took place during his youth when he and a group of his buddies were speeding on their bicycles past the inn. When his cousin, Ron Epler, approached the front of the place, some old fellow opened the front door, which swung outward over the walk, knocking him, head over heels, off his bike. This story may give listeners some idea of just how close the building was to the front walk. Another story concerns an old boatyard craftsman, whose fondness for divine spirits of a corporeal nature oftentimes led him to navigate from his intended port of call. This gent was also a member of Vermilion's esteemed volunteer fire department. One day when the fire alarm was sounded, he left his workshop along the river and headed up the hill toward the old fire station on Ohio Street. As his co-workers and friends watched him, openly expressing their admiration for his dedication to the greater good of the citizenry, he crossed Liberty Avenue and entered the Riverside Inn. Evidently the fire in his belly was more in need of immediate extinguishing than the one for which the village alarm had been sounded. I don't recall precisely when the place closed, but methinks it sat empty for a time until the owner, a Vermilion businessman named Elton Fisher, sold it. The building was, of course, demolished, and that is when a new Vermilion post office was built on the site. If you stick around Vermilion long enough, you'll witness the comings and goings of many, many business establishments and the folks who frequented them. This is not, however, a preface for some grandiose socio-economic critique or theory about the nature of commerce nor the people of our community. It's just a homespun observation tendered by an equally homespun person, whose memory was jogged by a very extraordinary photograph from a yesteryear, but for its existence, might very well have been consigned to oblivion.